In this orthokeratology case, we have a patient whose cylinder correction, which is mostly with the rule and mostly on the cornea, has gotten worse after lens wear. And usually that will happen when we have a lens that is fitting horizontally differently than it fits vertically. And if we look at the posterior topographies, we can see that we get good blue alignments on the temporal and nasal edges of the cornea, but superiorly and inferiorly we're getting this greenish aqua puddles. And we can see that the lens is not sealing off or bearing down as much vertically in either eye. So this is a case where I would recommend changing sagittal depth vertically opposite to horizontal. And so let me bring up the lens. This is the lens that the patient has for the right eye currently. We're in G-Sim mode, which is good because we're going to make some changes that are different in the meridians. In a case like this, I would aim for about a 25 micron change, which should be clinically significant. And I'm going to put 15 of that vertically and 10 of that horizontally. So what we're going to do is increase sagittal depth in the vertical meridian by 15 microns, and then decrease it by 10 microns in the horizontal meridian. So in fact what we're doing is we're getting the upper and lower portion of the lens to hit the cornea a little bit sooner or harder, and the goal is to get better seal off there relative to what we're getting horizontally. So the way to do that is to go into 50% mode and check our starting point. We're starting at a sagittal depth of 751 microns right now. So we're going to add 15 here. We'll end up with 766. Adding means we're going to make the lens a little bit taller. And there we are. Because this is G-Sim, that change will be mirrored in the inferior quadrant for us. And then we're going to subtract 10 microns in the horizontal. So currently we're at 743. We're going to end at 733. A little too much. Okay, so now we have a lens with the adjusted sagittal height values. It does look like this lens is going to fit very poorly, but this is not the fitting profile that you're going to see on the eye. And then one last thing I would do is lift the very edge of the lens a little bit as well. So this just helps to ensure that the first place that the lens touches down is at the back edge of the reverse curve, as opposed to not at the edge of the lens. If the lens is touching down first at the very edge, then it will pop up the applanation of the lens onto the cornea behind the reverse curve, and then that will help to, well, that prevents seal off as well. So lifting the edge just helps to make sure this is where we hit first on the cornea, and I did that in 100% mode all the way around. So in this case, the original torsi was at axis 24, fracs out to axis 31. We're working at axis 180 and 90. And so this is not exactly tailored to this specific cornea, but it should at least help and get the patient closer to a plano post-wear refraction, even if we don't have the axis lined up correct or exactly. So hopefully this is helpful. Best of luck with your patient.